Okay, ladies and gentlemen. I hope we're all ready. We're going to go through file by file, document by document. Cleared for release yesterday, May 8th, 2026. Effort to be transparent. We'll see how transparent this actually is. I haven't seen anybody actually go through these files page by page, word by word, picture by picture, so I'm going to do it myself. Partly out of my own curiosity, and I did notice on page 2 there is a transcript that I am very interested in. I have heard little quotes here and there from different people, news anchors, etc. Little tidbits, but nothing in its entirety. So, we will do that now. Sit down, relax, grab a coffee, a snack. Are on the war.gov /UFO page. Feel free to follow along if you would like. I encourage comments, questions, etc. Feel free to chime in. Should be pretty interesting. Let's go. Document 1. No incident date or location. FBI. Looks like it's from HQ. Investigative records, eyewitness testimonies, and public reports concerning unidentified flying objects and flying discs. Documented between June of 47, July of 68. Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Potential propulsion systems. Additional topics include Twitter accounts, extensive media coverage from the period. Okay. Well, document number 1. Go. We might be here a while. There's 17 pages of these documents, and each document is, how many pages is this? 184. Good God. Yeah, we're going to be here quite some time. So yeah, grab a snack, grab a drink. We are on the war.gov /UFO. If you want to follow along, feel free. Again, jump in the comments section, live chat. Let's go. Miss Levy, J. Dow, some? Jeffstown, New Hampshire. Oh, this is from J. Edgar Hoover. Look at all the signatures and notes down here. September of 66. Flying Saucer Clubs of America, Inc. What? What? Are these stamps on here? Received September 6th. Okay. Wow. J. Edgar Hoover, FBI Director, Washington, D.C. Member of NICAP. I'm interested in UFO flying saucers. Well, aren't we all? And this is from August 31st of 66. Several weeks ago, a fellow employee received a letter of business from Arizona with a stamp on the back. Okay. UFOs, I asked this stamp be $3. Okay, here we go. My reason for writing this. I consider myself a true American. Well, I hope so. My answers go back to GR, Indian squaw. Okay. Proud of it. Good. Name could be in any way be aligned to the Communist Party. I'd like to know if. So he's asking if his name is tied to the Communist Party? Why? That's interesting. Why would you ask that? 3 years old. Passed away in 65. That's just weird. What is this? Oh, that's like impossible to read. Oh, okay. So this is the handwritten version of this here. I see. Okay. So it was typed up into a readable format here. Blank page. September 2nd of 66. Okay. Wow, they even have a picture of the folder. What the hell is this? Flying Saucer Convention. Reno, Nevada. 8th, 9th, 10th of 66. Saucer Club of America, Inc. Never heard of that. Amazing experiences with spacecraft from other planets and their occupants by the greatest assembly of contactee speakers since our Los Angeles convention of 59. Okay. This is weird. People who have had actual contact with spaceships and their crews from other worlds. All right. I'm not going to call these people nutty, but they might they might be. Who knows? We'll see. This is only the fourth page of the first document dump out of 17 pages of some. All right. Wow, 50 cents some time ago. So this is this their whole this is like their whole brochure packet. Why were they hiding this? Oh, look at this right here. So, Nell Knoll, former Air Force lieutenant and fighter pilot, is fast becoming very well known for his lectures on his amazing experiences with flying saucers while on active duty in this service. June 23rd, 66. Huh. So it's just going through people that are there, little announcements. Saturday, June 4th, 66. People got married. Supposed to care. Okay. I'm trying to go through this slow, so if you're trying to read stuff, you want me to zoom in, just speak up in the comments and we'll stop and read specific things if you would like. Flying saucer news in brief. Again, why are they hiding this? I mean, this is from like pamphlet from a convention. I don't understand why this is so important to hide it. We throw the blame directly on the military-industrial complex, which by its underhanded dealing threats of force. Well, now don't we all know that the military-industrial complex probably has a lot to do with some of this stuff? I have my own personal opinion that we reverse engineered spacecraft in the mid to late 30s, and the military industrial complex has been hard at work hiding that. But again, that's my personal opinion there. Continuing on. Da, 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 da. The London Free Press. Tracked by radar, UFOs sighted over wide section of district. So these are. So this is out of the same brochure. You can see where the staples were in these two areas here. They disassembled and scanned these in, and it looks like whoever made this booklet took different news articles and like pasted them in. You can see where they're like overlaid here. Different pieces. So these are all different sighting cases. The font's really small. You want me to zoom in on one of these? We can read one. I don't know how well we'd be able to read it with that sort of. Not stars, flying saucer. Yeah, the font, the more we zoom in on this, it kind of, well, it's not terrible. See what this one right here is. Six picnicking Denver teenagers reported Thursday night they were chased for an hour by unidentified flying objects in Daniels Park south of Denver, Douglas County. High school students, 3 boys, 3 girls, told police chief. I almost said McLovin. Littleton, a witness unexplained, apparently hovering red, blue, and white lights. That's quite patriotic. Accompanied by a series of pulsating, buzzing sounds, began at 9:30 p.m. Described hesitantly. Sounded sincere, cold, somber, spoken by what they saw. Okay. Really, they're just citing articles. Blue streak scene. Picture. You know what this picture reminds me of? You're familiar with history in World War II, how the Nazis were manufacturing what they called Die Glocke, or the bell. If you chop the top of the bell off, that's what it would have looked like. So if the United States brought in Nazi scientists at the end of World War II, they could have developed something like that, which is like a remnant of Die Glocke, or an upgraded version of the bell, you know? Just my own thought. That's kind of what that looks like to me. This is in 66. All of these are from 66. April, this one's April 8th. April 2nd. Yeah, these are all roughly around the same time. Okay. Zoom back out here. Do you believe saucer visits Wichita? Planet Pluto. Oh my goodness. Boy is burned by flying ship. Are you kidding me? Mysterious UFO escorts burns plane. Saucer blast? 6 towns see mystery. What is this? What is that? Look at him. That's silly. Wow, look at that. What? Interesting. This stuff is going to take so long to go through. New saucer photos. These remarkable photos of flying saucers were taken by Dr. Daniel W. Fry, president of Understanding Inc., Portland, Oregon. Okay, so these are stills from a video. Visualization perspective. Type of craft was photographed near Merlin, Oregon, in a wooded section near Joshua Tree, California. Thing. Okay. I find this stuff so interesting. Like, a lot of this is just news reports or like newspaper reports and stories. And when was this? Oakland Tribune. March 25th of 66. Flying saucers are popping up all over. One shot by man in Maine. That flying swamp gas. Oh, good Lord. All these flying saucers come to Canadian skies. Brewer welcomes UFOs, landing sites available. Oh, that's funny. UFO plays tag with deputy. 85-mile base. '96. Wow. I've never heard of this club. If any of you have heard of this Flying Saucer Clubs of America, let me know in the chat. Oh. Memorandum, Director of the FBI, LA, 10366. Oh, maybe that's why they included it. Here. Put on pages 3 of issue 4, for which founded the Communist Party. Three. That page. Investigation mode. Front page. Skips to page. Wait, this is page 2. Issue number 24. Where? Talking about this right here. Right here. So they're talking about Vietnam. Triggering application. This news of aid crisis suffering a heavy loss because of a rumor that peace might come to pass. This thought is most stressing. Your economy relies heavily on war and destruction. Stop. House of Cards, millions would be employed. War is profitable. What are they? You know what's interesting? Because the time this came out, it wasn't too far off. There was like, if I remember the timing right, it was within about 5 years or so. There was kind of a recession. There was like all the gas issues. People were struggling to gas. But they're talking about this here. So they're essentially saying the Korean War in the 1950s became another recession. For Vietnam, no one knows. Find out. The war in Vietnam is bringing an unheard of degree of affluence in the United States. Why kill a good thing by ending the war? See, I've always had this idea that wars were for profit in some way or another, right? There's always unsaid reasons as to why countries go to war. Is this evident? Unless a drastic change is made in the structure of your economy, war will never end because the military-industrial complex won't let it. And it's interesting, that line there. Since World War II, there technically has never been a time that the United States has not been at war with somebody. You may fear communism. Where did that come from, I ask you? From within yourself? No. Brainwashed into you by the military industrial complex. No, see, the fear of communism came from Mao, China, when he killed millions of his own citizens. We still see it today in China. So yeah, that's what they were referring to by this letter that was sent down here. Okay, moving down. Back to your inquiry, matters pertaining to sightings of unidentified flying objects. Flying saucers are not within the jurisdiction of the FBI. Yeah, at the time it was under the Air Force, I guess. Forwarded that to the Air Force. Who's writing this? Somebody named Paul L. Wright. Correspondence letter, basically asking why they aren't doing anything about all the sightings. Controversial existence of non-existence. Gerald Ford. This is when he was a Michigan representative. Suggesting that Congress look into UFOs. Costing $300,000. Okay. This. Trying to get, I'll get these to try and fit better in the screen. So if you're trying to read them, date or anything on this. That 1965 was the greatest number of UFO sightings. I'm thinking that the military-industrial complex actually perfected UFOs and reverse engineered them successfully in the late 80s. And they were testing them through the 60s and 70s. Zeppelin-shaped ship to 300 feet long, dish-shaped objects ranging from 2 feet in diameter to 100 feet. Egg-shaped objects, according to author, are the ones most recent. A lot. Egg shapes keep coming up. That's common. Again, if you have any comments, free to speak up. Wreckage of crashed saucers has been reportedly recovered on at least 3 occasions. One case described as a magnetism alloy and another as pure magnesium, sorry. And a third case attributed to an official of the Canadian government. Matrix of magnesium orthosilicate. In thousands of 15-micron metal spheres throughout. Evidence of meteorites on its surface. Weird. Few witnesses have reported seeing crewmen who had landed from the objects who were described as 3 and 4 foot tall, wearing what appear to be spacesuits and helmets. Okay. Right. More articles. I'm not going to read all the articles. I just don't have the time for that. I'm more interested in these sort of documents. October 31st, 66. Captioned individual telepathically contacted the Bureau telephonically. Why they say that? They called or contacted the Bureau by phone, spoke with this dude, crime research section. The words they use. Weird. A TV show. Wondering about this person's real identity. FBI will not help. So far, a lot of letters denying the FBI ever looks into this stuff, but yet they show up on these scenes. Oh, we just go to see if they're breaking federal law. Or are you afraid that it's like the communists or something? Oh yeah, I'm sure you're gonna send this to the director of the FBI, and they're just gonna tell you for a science project you're doing. Right. Good luck with that. And this is the handwritten letter that was typed here. That's funny. That's silly. Down. Okay, so he disappeared between 8 p.m., showed back up at 4 a.m., can't account for the time, taken aboard this ship. And humanoid about 4 feet tall, allegedly wearing trouser pants and t-shirts. Okay. Ship made of glass. What? Okay. Alright. Alright, we have made it 51 pages so far. Pretty entertaining, I'd say. Oh wow, that's hard to read. I almost can't even read this. We will be right back momentarily. Okay. Uh, let's see. These documents are not the easiest to read. I guarantee dude disappeared. So the parliament, I guarding this guy, touch with the Colorado University. Weird. Why would they? And then they edit this stuff out. Weird. Weird. Down in that kind of nondescript area. Right. File slips. So, like, if you sent FBI a file document, say, or they were uh, investigating you, and they had documents about a topic, they have this as kind of like a cover sheet, like a reference ticket, I believe. That's how I see that. Help you. Might even help me read this. Director Miami. offer to be an intel operative and go back to Austria. 59. Up at my office in Miami. 40 and 67, April 26th. Something he saw in November of 44. Wow. That's wild. Okay, so in case you don't want to read this, this dude was he graduated from the German Air Academy and was assigned a member of Wafa on the Russian front. Near the end of 44, he was from his duty and was assigned as a test pilot to a top secret project in the Black Forest of Austria. The Black Forest of Austria is where DECLASSIFIED was created, I believe. If I'm wrong, he was in charge of taking photos of said craft. He kept a negative of one of the 7,000 meters or 20,000 feet. Copy is attached to the end. Station. Another one showing the object parked in a hangar appears on the last page of this document. That's interesting. You have this guy in the German Air Force, Luftwaffe, in charge of taking pictures of their secret space program. Wild stuff. Designed and engineered by, I won't try and pronounce that last name, your German engineer who present whereabouts is unknown to him. Supposedly apprehended by the Gestapo. Great. Okay, in Vietnam, or sorry, wow, Vienna, Austria, sometime during the late 43. I also assume this pertaining to aircraft were captured by Allied forces. Oh, I hope I have zoomed in enough that you can actually read this too. This document so far, probably the most interesting one I've come across. We're 4 pages in the very first uh, file. There are 17 pages, probably 10 files per page, thousands of pages. We're only 64 in, and it's been an hour, over an hour. This is gonna take forever, but this is awesome. No, I haven't. I don't know anybody else that's doing this, so uh, that's interesting that he's claiming that this craft that he was in charge of taking pictures of Austrian Black Forest shot down at least one American B-26 airplane, and then describes the fuel mixture this thing ran on. Shot down by the March 45, assigned to the Western Front. London. Was Austrian, born in 24, joined the German Luftwaffe, fought on the Northern Front against Russia, put in charge of taking pictures of this thing in the Black Forest, came prisoner in London, came to the United States to naturalized 58. I can't wait to see the bottom of this document, the picture he supplied of this thing. I really curious. It might look like the Glocke, the bell that the Nazis were working on in the Black Forest. Please have the pictures. Okay, so same document, typed up different. Mixture. Okay, here we go. This is the photo negative, supposedly. The hell is that? Same document again. That looks nothing like the bell. So in this document, he says, the first picture took was, since he was in the, he was in charge of taking pictures in the Black Forest of Austria of this flying thing, right? And the first picture he managed to keep was a negative of the picture he took, and it was from 7,000 meters or 20,000 feet. And then there's supposed to be a second picture, an actual picture of this craft sitting in a hangar. So I'm assuming this right here is a photo negative. It's the worst photo negative I've ever seen. Keep being. So this is a photo negative. That is supposed to be a picture, legitimate picture. I don't see how that's a picture of a spaceship in a hangar, though. I'm not seeing that. Okay, and then it starts with something else here. So those are the only two images from the document. Uh, I don't know what AI could do with that, honestly. Could try and have AI invert the colors of this. Um, how could I do that though? Because all of this, how do I capture this page and like put it into, I don't know if that like, do you think Copilot could do that? Or is that more of like a ChatGPT? I have G open here. I get this page. Okay. That was my first thought, to kind of like screen cap that. What I can do, let's okay. Uh, Bert. So invert colors. Enhance this photo. See what it comes up with here. What the that? Seriously? Okay. Okay, hang on. Bring it up. That's it. When you compare, isn't that wild? It's almost like it's an explosion. That looks crazy, bro. What is that? Hold on. Okay. Hold on. I'm gonna do the same thing to the other one. That's the one of the weirdest pictures I've seen in a while, I have to say. This one doesn't really. Cam froze. All right. Okay, so what would be the negative image that he took from 20,000 feet? I wouldn't say it really captures anything notable like the last one. So, yeah, I don't know. It's weird for sure, but it doesn't like give any more detail than what the actual negative shows here, right? We're not like getting any more detail. So, still weird, sure. But out of 70 pages now of just the first file, it is really interesting for sure. This is the first page so far that I have found quite interesting. And it comes from Europe. That's weird. Best possible image. All right. Next, page 72. Oh, they're just talking about some book somebody's writing. You know, because they didn't really like people writing about this topic, so they investigated everybody. But yeah, it does not appear to be in violation of any statute or another further action. Yeah. Okay. And for the note, this is like the thing, I guess. J. Edgar Hoover, Director of the FBI. Happy birthday. Did you know, fun fact, a lot of people don't know this. J. Edgar Hoover, don't tell anybody. I never said this, okay? A cross-dresser. I didn't say that. I never said that. Ignore that. Strike that from the record. I don't know what you're talking about. If you want me to like zoom in on the documents for you to read, I can do that. Just a little bit. If it's easy for you to read, that's good. Happy birthday. I don't know why that's in here. And envelope. Ooh. Oh, hold on. This is the aforementioned IGAP journal that was just in the previous document. June of 67. This one here, your letter concerning your unidentified flying object film. Nation to Project Blue Book. Now, see, they denied Project Blue Book was even a thing for ever. They still basically say Project Blue Book wasn't really a thing, even though there's a TV show on it, and several people from I have said, yeah, it was a real thing. But you go ask the higher ups, and like, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, it's right there. Okay. A lot of this is just a brochure magazine. I don't know why. Maybe down here. Kind of like the first brochure passed down underneath a letter that said on, page this and that, there was supposedly, communist propaganda inserted in there, and we actually scrolled back up and we found it. So this may be in here for a reason other than that previous letter. See, and this is why I'm doing this. I'm trying to like put things together and figure stuff out, right? What is that? There's some dots. UFO pictures. I don't know. I don't know what that is. Armada of UFOs. Okay. Tell you what, I'm really looking forward to uh, page 2 of the drop. The very last one on page 2. There is a transcript from Apollo 17, I believe. Get pretty thing there. Soviet reports, Royal. Yeah. So they're happening everywhere. It's not just over the United States, which we already know. I don't know if you can read it here. This here. Is this readable on screen? I hope so. The resurrection of Lord Jesus Christ, 17th century, from the Moscow Theological Academy. The house of the Lord resembles a spaceship. There is a lot of talk right now on social media that these things are actually angels or demons, stuff like that. They're not really like aliens from other planets or solar systems or whatever. That's weird. I don't know what to make of that. They're showing like these dudes flying. A little duder in there. Angels and flying machines. Weird. See, that ties into what I just said. If you want, I can zoom in and you can read that. No, there's probably a delay in the stream by seconds or 30 or so. So I can stop and wait. Want me to slow down or speed up or zoom in, zoom out? Photograph in question has previously come to the Bureau's attention and is known to have appeared in a publication in Europe concerning an identified flying objects. A captain under the photograph, or caption under the photograph, alleges 2 FBI agents are leading a person from outer space down the street. Okay, dokie. If you say so. Where's the photo? I want to see the photo. Please have the photo. I want to see it. Okay, and that's the actual letter that was sent to them. So we'll. What this hell? What are we even looking at? What is that? What does that even pertain to? Because that's not. That's not this. Zoom enhance. Should I do the same thing with this one? There's something here. No. Okay, so this is the only image pertaining to the previous documents. Try it with this too. Oh, and GPT. This is the last one I'll be able to manipulate unless Copilot will. He wants people to pay for it now. Limits you to like 3 messages per day. I don't get what that would be. That bad. I don't understand the importance of it. Can elaborate? I don't know. Moving on. I don't know. Okay. This one might be entertaining. So a young female shows up at their FBI office October 9th, 67. Says, might sound like a nutbag, but has information pertaining to UFOs. Information and showed up and gave her information. I really hope this is big enough you can read. This sounds crazy. So an anti-missile, or a missile, fired at a UFO over Africa, May 22nd, 62. UFO was protected by its force field. Okay. UFO was detected 22,000 miles from Earth by radar about August 6, 67. UFO was detected over Antarctica, which is interesting. August 20th, 67. Detected over Del Du Line. I don't know where that is. Last weekend was shot down. Beings from outer space are trying to recover it. Okie then. What? Okay. Received is true and will furnish full details. This will include information regarding the destruction of a Moon Explorer vehicle by beings from outer space and how these beings shot down a Russian cosmonaut. Okay. Okay, crazy person. You know, I believe in UFOs, like, but some of this, it sounds so nutty. But nobody else is like showing these documents. That's why I'm doing it. I find it entertaining, and you know, somebody needs to show this stuff, because you can't just like take people's word for it. You got to see the document, read the document yourself, get your eyes on it. This is the same document. Same document again. I don't know why they have like sometimes 4 copies of the same thing in the same file. I don't really quite get. Another one. Important. We're writing you to let you know that we saw the letter that you wrote. This letter. Okay. Not important. Some of this I don't know why they're even classified. Like, why? We know there's agencies on flying saucers or whatever. I love how Hoover never signed anything himself. It's always the stupid stamp. Purple J. Edgar Hoover stamp. Weird. Like, did he really exist? Or was he just a stamp? A fake name? I don't know. United Saucer Hunter Organization. Really? Okay. If you're gonna write this to the FBI, do you really expect them to be like, yeah, that's true, that's real, that happened? No, that's not gonna happen. They're gonna be like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Go pound sand. How about that? A photo of 2 alleged FBI agents and a saucer occupant. Okay. Did you attach the photo? No. And this is the folder. Okay. Yeah. They're just gonna provide this information to you for sure. What? Why do people think that they can just write the FBI about something, right, like this, and they're just gonna hand it over? Not happening. They're just gonna write back, thanks for the letter. Oh, you're doing a project on UFOs. You want us to send you everything we have on UFOs? Okay, okay, all right. If you can't get it to me by the 20th, as close as you can to that date, would be appreciated. They're not going to send you anything, Jane. Sorry. Wow. Mr. Hoover. 763 observed in the sky in New Jersey an unusual object. I've seen an unusual object in the sky. That's not new. Unusual behavior. Yeah, same here. 24 hours later, same thing. American aircraft with 73 passengers and crew. 8 perished with the exploded mid-air and crashed. What does that have to do with something you saw the day before, though? I don't understand. So there's a video of this thing on December 7th. He mentioned, and he sent it to Hoover, and he says it's possibly tied to this Pan Am aircraft that crashed on the 8th. Why? Now, if you see something weird, sky, and then within minutes the plane crashes, that's one thing. But this is a whole day later. Was the thing still in the sky when this plane crashed? Because that would be different. Thanks for coming by. Appreciate your view. Hanging out. Have a good evening or day or morning, whatever it is in the time and space you are in. The month of March, 65. I released a report that this accident was due to lightning strike. Yeah. Yeah, see, like, planes crash, okay? Not. They're missing the point completely. No, dude, you are a nutbag. Oh, okay. Here's the kicker. I claim that the object which I seen was laying air mines, and that this aircraft was destroyed by contact with one of these mines. You didn't say that up there. This- Now this to me sounds nutty. Air mines. Page 8, line 20 to line 24. Inclusive this report, Boeing 707 Pan Am near Elkton, Maryland, December 8th, 63. Okay. Wow. That's some nutty stuff. Okay. So this is interesting enough, right? So metal splatters on the leading edges of the horizontal stabilizer were identified by spectrographic analysis as being formed from two different aluminum alloys. However, these alloys would not be identified since the chemical composition of the deposits did not conform to any of the alloys used in the airplane. Okay, now that's something, I guess. Just assuming that Russia's sending stuff over. Okay. Saw a meteor, nothing else. Okay. So somebody from the psych ward's like, I saw alien. Okay. Good deal. Terrible document. is the second mention of this photograph of FBI agents escorting an alien down the street. Find that interesting. Is there a photograph? What is that? Oh, that's the FBI seals reversed and upside down. Interesting. So why were there so many 52, 57, 67? That drop one. Wow. That took over 2 hours. Wow. There was really only one document in there that was like interesting. Okay. Take a short break. Back. Okay, folks. So after 2 hours, we made it through the first one. Let's one. This file includes investigative records, eyewitness testimony, public flying object discs, documented between 47 and 68. Okay. Find it interesting that a lot of these are after World War II. comment order solar system shows sent flying disks will set up world order under Martian late this year. Uh-huh. George Bush wrote this. Okay. Halfway drop to pause for the day here. Tomorrow. Exact spot. Away. Take a long time. Been 3 hours. Everybody tuning in, hanging out. Your input, commenting, etc. Stay tuned tomorrow for more.